Morning. Good morning to all of our guests here in the theater and also our overflow group out in the Great Hall. We thank you for being here with us today. As we begin the program for this morning, I would ask that anyone who has a cell phone, digital device, Android, iPad, computer, whatever kind of gadget you brought with you, if you would please either turn it off or turn it on silent, and also make sure that there are no flash photos that will be taken this morning. I will guarantee that the Golden Horseshoe Ceremony is one of the most photographed and videoed events of the year, and we will be providing you lots of information how you'll be able to access all of the photos and videos, so we'll make sure everyone gets that information. So I thank you in advance for your cooperation. Good morning, Governor Justice, Superintendent Payne, members of the State Board of Education, distinguished guests, student honorees, parents, teachers, and friends. Welcome to the induction ceremony of the West Virginia Golden Horseshoe Ceremony. As you can see from the size of the audience today, this is the place to be in West Virginia on May 4th. And in case you didn't know it, today is also National Star Wars Day, but I think we have topped the Star Wars audience today. The West Virginia Golden Horseshoe is one of the most coveted awards any citizen can achieve and receive, and we are proud of our student honorees today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce Dr. Stephen Payne, State Superintendent of Schools, and to welcome him to the podium for remarks and introductions. Dr. Payne.
Good morning. What a pleasure to be here this morning. I'm a former West Virginia Studies teacher, and I love West Virginia Studies, history, culture, geography, all of the above. And it is with great pleasure that I join you this morning in honoring 221 of the finest 8th grade students out of 22,221. So I've unofficially called them the All-Staters of West Virginia Studies. As you may know, and students, I'm sure that you will remember, the Golden Horseshoe test originated from Governor, thank you, Spotswood. What year? 1931 was when the award began to commemorate Governor Spotswood of the colony of Virginia back in 1716 when he commissioned 50 of his men, probably not women at that time, although he missed out, didn't he, to cross over into what was known as Western Virginia because he just knew there was something to the west of the Allegheny Mountains. Little did he know that one day the great state of West Virginia would be discovered that we are all citizens of and proud contributors to our state, led by our great governor, Governor James Justice, who I'm going to introduce right now. Some of you might know this, and Governor, President Gee at WU told me one time that he said, welcome to the club, sir, and I said, well, what club would that be? And he said, well, it's the club where if you mess it up the first time, they have you come back a second time and try it again. So I'm on my second go-around as State Superintendent of Schools. But I have to tell you, one of the things that appealed to me when I expressed interest to President Campbell, members of the board, was the fact that Governor Justice is our governor. I don't need to read this script for this. He is a tremendous individual. I've known the governor for a good while. I have never met a gentleman in the truest sense, a greater champion for children, a heart for our students in West Virginia. He has a heart to see us prosper in West Virginia, as evidenced already in an amazing one-year turnaround in our economy. I can remember the first State of the State, and our economy was in a deficit. And I was so proud to watch the numbers flip literally this year, and there are more great things to come. His wife might be Kathy. They're proud grandparents, by the way, just newly crowned grandparents. His wife, Kathy, might be the nicest governor. You did good there. She might be the nicest lady I've ever met in my life. She is authentic, and she is just wonderful. And I am just so proud to be on your team, sir. I would like to present to you, and I have to tell you, he has a 10 o'clock meeting, a very important meeting. If you haven't noticed, we're dealing with road bonds and the economy and so forth, and he has a lot of things to do. He'd love to stay, but he asked me to express his regrets that he'll have to step out after his remarks. But he didn't want to miss this moment to be with you, our 221 honorees, your parents, your friends, your grandparents, and others. May I present to you Governor James C. Justice II.
Oh, no. Now, please, y'all. Okay, you're very kind. Now, sit down, please. Well, first of all, I thank you. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. I thank Dr. Payne and all the great people, whether it be our board, Brother Tom that's looking after the presidency of the board, and Commissioner Leonhardt over there, and you know, it's just, and all you wonderful, wonderful parents and in-laws and outlaws of all this crowd. You know, Dr. Payne mentioned Kathy, and Kathy and I go all the way back to high school sweethearts. We've been married 715 years now. And Kathy is sweet. And we have these two little, and I've got to tell this, I never would have thought, I have no notes, I just talk to you. But we have these two little Boston Terriers, and they sleep in the bed with us every night, and they're our buddies. And one of them is pretty new, and she's only about 6 months old now because we lost one of our dearest friends, you know, one of them not long ago. But every night just about, you know, which is not a good thing to do, but about every night before I go to bed or something, I get something sweet to eat of something that I shouldn't. And this particular night, and I always give a little piece of it to both of the little bulldogs, and they smile and they're happy. And this particular night, I ate my little donut or whatever, and I didn't give any piece of it to either of the little bulldogs because they were outside. So we turn off the lights, and it's typical for us, it's 1 o'clock in the morning when we go to bed because I don't ever sleep, and I work, I really do. Now, so as we turned the lights out and went to sleep, all of a sudden I heard Kathy yell, "Stop, Ellie." And I thought, I said, "What are you doing?" And so Kathy is holding her blanket, and the little bulldog is trying to pull the blanket off of her, and it can. And then I said, "Why is she doing that?" And she said, "Because she wants a piece of that donut, Jim." So she had to get up and give the little bulldog a piece of donut for us to be able to go to bed. But she is sweet. And let me say just this. Today is an exceptional day, an unbelievable day. You have an athlete here that stumbled into a base and broke his leg because he just wasn't paying attention, and I'm teasing. But oftentimes, we do this. You know, Dr. Payne mentioned All-State, and oftentimes we relate All-State to an athletic accomplishment. You know, I've been a coach forever. I've never cut a kid, and I've never had a kid become grade ineligible. Never. And the reason for that is because I stress to them the importance of academics. In the first State of the State address, I said, education should be our centerpiece. It should not be something that we just have to necessarily fund. It ought to be something that we invest in and become an economic driver for us. It can bring more to this state than anything we have. Just think about our image beyond this state. Think if people beyond this state really believed that West Virginia had an incredible education system and incredible people like all these people we see here and all of you. It would be an economic driver beyond belief rather than people on the outside thinking we're dark and dusty and dingy and backward and all the bad things that you've heard forevermore about West Virginia. We're changing, and we're on the move today. Now, this is absolutely concrete solid with me. I love these kids, and I know you do too. I love their achievement. I tried to become one of them and didn't make it. My wife tried to become one of them and didn't make it. The heritage and the history of this state is unbelievable. And I would say just this. Think about it. If you're a frog and you're not proud of your own pond, then you're not much of a frog. And that's what these kids and that's what you've done. 1931, 87 of them won this prestigious award. Like Dr. Payne said, 22,000 plus try, and 221 succeed. You are something beyond belief, and you are all state. Now, you're on your way. Do greatness. The reason I ran for governor is one thing and one thing alone. And that is there may be someone here that loves this state as much as me, but there's no one here that loves it more. That's all there is to it. I don't want a thing. I never have wanted a thing. Sometimes you've got to make some tough decisions. We have really changed who we are to the good way. And we have opportunity and things happening in West Virginia where you may have wondered where you're going to end up in life. Today, you may actually believe and have hope that we're going to have the greatest opportunities in life for you right here. You're not going to have to go to Charlotte and Denver and all over the world. Right here's where we want you, because we don't want our families fragmented anymore, and we want to bring people back. Let me tell you, and I'll end with this. Years ago, we had the Greenbrier Classic. And in the Greenbrier Classic, it was a time that I could get on CBS and brag on who we are and brag on West Virginia. Now, I didn't have a thought in my head in any way, shape, form, or fashion of ever running for governor at that point in time. But there I am on CBS telling how great West Virginia really is, because I want the world to know it. I've wanted it forever. I can't stand the fact that we've been dead last in so many things. Now, and then there was this little guy, and I wish to goodness I could think of his last name. And he, out on the golf course, he walked up to me and he grabbed my hands, and this is absolute gospel truth. And he was trembling, and he said, Mr. Justice, way, way before I ever became governor, Mr. Justice, with tears running down his face, he said, my name is Bob, whatever. I still cannot remember or recall his name. Tears running, he says, I'm 87 years old. Thank you for making me feel proud about who I am and being a West Virginian. Now listen, You don't need Jim Justice to make you proud beyond belief of who you are. You have accomplished the unbelievable, and for that, I could not possibly be more proud. I mean it when I tell you that I love you. I love kids, and that is to a fault. But I love the fact that you are our future. And you should be so proud, and I know you are. So I'll leave you with just that. God bless you on the great day, maybe the greatest day of the year for this state. That's all there is to it. Go on, shoot for the stars and beyond. Believe with all your heart you can do it. I am living proof that one time I was skinny and now I'm not. One time my grandparents had no indoor plumbing, none. And now I'm your governor. In all honesty, you can dream and you can get to anything you want in life. You have a jump start beyond belief. And you have great people that are working with you. These are the greatest. So I'm blessed to have these and all of y'all, and especially proud of you guys. Thank y'all so much.
Again, we thank Governor Justice so very much for taking time from his extremely busy schedule to be with us this morning and to share those words with us today.